How's it going? I just wanted to give a little sneak peek into what it's like ordering pallets because look at this pallet cemetery that we have here. So I just got a pallet delivered today and I spent most of the day unpacking it, and these other two that are here unfortunately have just been in my pallet cemetery and I haven't broken them down because I basically want to talk about the not so pretty side of ordering a pallet as a one-person operation. So yeah, I guess I'm gonna turn the camera around so I can show you a little bit more in depth what it looks like after all the clothes have come out of it. So here we go. Okay, so there might be some kids screaming in the background, but I just want to show you guys what it looks like after you have broken down pallets. So this is like not the most recent one I got. The most recent one is actually the furthest one down there. But this one was filled with hangers. I've actually done an okay job of bagging some of those up. I'm actually going to send some off to some people who want hangers, and then I am obviously just going to have to figure out ways to either donate or dispose of them in some way. So there are lots of hangers. Luckily, my most recent pallet didn't have this many hangers. This is like from the last pallet, had a ton of hangers. So I was grateful to really not have any this time. They do come with a covering, which my pallets have gotten destroyed. I don't know how people keep them intact. Mine, as you can see, I have to lean into it and grab items out. And so mine get pretty torn up. Like, I know people are like, you could play in these or do things with them, but not the case for me. And then additionally, they do come with the wooden pallet frame that's on the bottom. Sometimes they will have a large plastic frame on the bottom. It just depends on who is fulfilling them and what sort of equipment that they might use. I apologize, it's loud out here, guys. But anyways, this is what the Pallet Graveyard looks like. So yeah, I mean, they're just kind of janky. There's not a lot to them. Again, just wanted to show you. Here's an empty one. And this was today's, again, empty and destroyed. Like I said, these are some of the hangers. I've started to bag them up. If I can give them away, I will. And if I can't, again, I'll just figure out what else I can do with them. Now that I've showed you the cemetery, let's talk a little bit more in depth about pallets. Okay, so we are now in my garage, which has been serving as my office since I moved all my stuff back home out of the office that I had. Check out previous videos for more information on that. But I wanted to show you how crazy this space is because I haven't organized it or done anything with it for the most part since moving back, and now adding pallets into the mix, it's gotten like nutso. So basically, I've ordered a few pallets, clearly, obviously you've seen that, and been working my way through them. However, the last two came pretty quickly together, and I didn't plan it that way. Unfortunately, the shipping company just shipped them that way, and so I got stuck with having them stacked delivery on top of delivery, which was a little bit frustrating. So what that has left me with is 2 pallets back to back, and I've been struggling to keep up with doing the inventory on that. So I'm going to show you everything, including what it looks like for the pallet of merchandise that I just got today, which I don't even know if I can show you all of it because some of it is behind that stuff. Okay, let's look at it. All right, guys, this is the craziness. I know, it's okay. If you want to judge me and feel better about your life, that's okay too. This is a whole lot of, this is my garage, essentially. So ever since I moved everything back out of my office space, things have just gotten a little crazy. So right here, which it's kind of hard to tell, the depth perception is interesting right now, but this is pretty, this is a pretty high pile. I'd say like maybe hits about 2 feet tall, right around there. So all of this is stuff that I pulled out of the pallet today. This is actually the pallet lid. I like to put on the lid to kind of just keep it off the ground. A large portion of it is actually wrapped in the plastic still from where it came from, which is kind of nice. Look at this, there's a bike there. Okay. But a lot of what I got today included swimwear, which is actually perfect for the season. I'm pretty excited about that. I didn't think that there would be as much swimwear in it as there was this time, but that's okay. Additionally though, so let's talk about this section over here. I'm trying to get a little bit closer. Okay, so all of this stuff right here is what I would call filler items that you will sometimes get in a pallet. And basically it's just like duplicates of items. Maybe in different colors if you're lucky. Otherwise they'll all be in the same color. So on the bottom here is a lot of these like fuzzy, I can't think of what, like nubby pullovers. They're super cozy. And I will definitely sell them, and I can do multi-quantity listings on them. The price point of them isn't super high, so there's that. And then right around here, I'm trying to look, and some of right there are men's shorts from a brand I'm not familiar with, but I'm going to look it up. I mean, it looks like it's kind of like mid-range. But anyways, there is probably, gosh, I don't even know, maybe like 50 or more pairs of these shorts, which the good news is we're going into the season for that. All I have to do is create one listing, essentially, to maybe based on the color of the item, and then just sell it off as multiple quantity, and then obviously inventory all the sizes of the items. So that is a reality of when you order pallets. Additionally, you can't see it here, but I got quite a few Topshop rompers, which I like selling Topshop. It's a decent brand, but I got probably like, oh gosh, 20 or 30 of the same style. Again, I can do a multi-quantity listing. I'm not necessarily mad at it. It's just a lot of one item. So, you know, a lot of one item that's like a $500 item, that's even better. So yeah, anyways, that's not what I got. I didn't get a lot of a $500 item. And there's actually some more inventory on the other side of this little wall here, but I shut my garage and so you can't really see it. But again, it's just more items that are multiple quantity, much like this stack. And that is a reality of when you get pallets. I'm just going to film the rest of the video here in my garage. It's a little bit dusty in here, so if you see like little specks floating by, that's what that is. If you're new to my channel, hi, I'm Denali. I'm a full-time reseller on eBay and Poshmark. Welcome to my channel. Consider subscribing if you're a reseller and you like reselling content. And if you're so far enjoying this video, give me a thumbs up. I do appreciate that. So just to continue on with the topic of the video, ordering pallets. Now, a lot of times what you might see in the reseller community is what looks like people pulling like rabbits out of a magician's hat. It looks like all amazing things that you are purchasing. However, that's not always the reality of purchasing a pallet. It can depend. So there's such thing as a manifested pallet and an unmanifested pallet. So if you're buying a manifested pallet, it basically means that you're buying a pallet with basically a list of all the items that you're going to receive. If you're lucky, it will also tell you the condition of the items. If you're really lucky, again, it will tell you the price point of all of those items. However, manifested pallets will cost you more because you're getting a list and an idea of what you're ordering prior to purchasing one. There's just less risk involved, right? So if you're risk adverse, that's going to be a good option for you. However, you're likely going to have to pay more. Now, if you purchase an unmanifested pallet, then you are basically going into it blindly. If you're lucky, you'll get to see some photos of the items. Perhaps they'll tell you the quality of the items. That's really helpful as well. But you're not going to know the value of the individual items, or even the sum of all of the items that are going to be included. At best, you're just going to know how many items are in there, possibly like the quantity of individual items, and or they're going to tell you the weight of the entire pallet. Maybe it's going to weigh, I don't know, I'm just going to say like 300 pounds or something like that. Don't quote me on those numbers. So that's what it looks like. Now, in terms of being eligible to purchase one, a lot of places will require you to have a reseller's permit and be approved to purchase one. If you're not familiar with what a reseller's permit is, I would recommend going to Google and typing in your state's name, as well as including the words reseller's permit. I mean, essentially it's going to, if you're not kind of running an above the board business, and paying taxes on your business and reporting your earnings and all that sort of stuff, this is going to require that you level up and start doing those tasks. But getting a reseller's permit is not very expensive. I think in my state, it only costs like $5 or $10. The benefit of those is that additionally, when you make purchases, whether it be at a thrift store or purchasing large liquidation lots like this, you are not paying sales tax. And then also it gives you authorization to resell liquidation merchandise, such as what I've purchased. Another thing to keep in mind is freight. So it's pretty expensive to have liquidation shipped to you. Generally, it's going to cost you in the hundreds of dollars, depending on how close the location is of the warehouse that you're purchasing from. So if you're purchasing from a warehouse that's closer to you, it's not going to cost as much. And if you're purchasing from one further away, it's going to cost more. So while you might go into a pallet thinking, oh, this price isn't so bad, then you have to factor in, oh gosh, wait, that's going to be another, let's just say $500 in freight charges. So that brings your per item cost up a little bit. So again, just things to keep in mind there. Another thing that is good to keep in mind is, form of payment. So liquidation isn't necessarily cheap. You're paying somewhere usually in the thousands, to thousands, for liquidation lots that I've seen. Sorry, my garage light just went off there. And be prepared that the place that you're purchasing from may be cash only. So, I have purchased wholesale and liquidation from places where you could pay with a credit card or a debit card or whatever you like. Generally I like to pay with my business credit cards because then I earn miles and points on them, and then I can just pay them off, with the money that I have. However, or money that's in my bank account. However, some liquidation companies will request you to do a wire transfer. So if you're doing a wire transfer, although you can do a wire transfer from a credit card company, I'm not sure that I would suggest that. I'm assuming pretty much like a cash advance, and those generally come with astronomical interest rates on them. So you maybe could do one, but I'm strongly advising you not to. For the most part, you're going to have cash to do this. And I think that's what prevents a lot of people from doing liquidation purchases, is that you have to have thousands of dollars to pay up for a liquidation lot. So these are just a few things that I want people to keep in mind when they're thinking about purchasing liquidation, because there are many different levels of doing so. If you're looking to purchase, like I said, large liquidation lots, it's just going to cost you more. And these are things to think about. And while it might look great to see people pulling designer brands out of a box, myself included, I'm guilty of, showing some of the items that I've purchased. Unfortunately, it's not all roses. And there's a large cost that comes with it. When I do this myself, it's just me. So I don't have any employees. And while I am married and have a child, they don't help me with that portion of my business. I've not asked them to help me with that portion of my business. So it is just on me to be processing all of this inventory. And say, hypothetically, you purchased a liquidation lot of 600 pieces. I mean, let's think about that for a second. 600 of anything is an insane amount. And so you are responsible for processing 600 pieces of inventory. And, when you get that big box that comes to you, it's super exciting until you're like, oh my gosh, I've got to unpack this box. I've got to sort through it. I've got to see if I have multiples of some things. I've got to check condition of the items because it could be customer returns. Maybe it wasn't customer returns. Maybe it's all new stuff. That's really nice. But again, that's something you're paying up for. So it is just a lot of work. And I wanted to make sure that I was being real and authentic and showing everybody that this is what the real process looks like on the back end if you are just a one-person show like myself. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this moment of transparency. I ask that you send me lots of good vibes that I can get a lot of this stuff processed and move through a lot of it quickly. It is overwhelming, I won't lie, but I do have my eye on the prize and I'm trying to just, you know, do small batches at a time and make my way through it. So again, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll catch you in my next video. Bye.